What's the name of the album? What's the name of the album?
Oh, just another office job. Sweet setup here, yeah.
Huh? What?
Do you need this?
No.
No.
I already ripped it in there.
I thought for the market here. Right now, anything.
No.
I was talking to you. What do we say? 4, 2, and 3?
Yeah.
Yeah, cheers. Is there any way to get a copy of that video, or is that in-house, you say? If it's in-house, that's cool.
Yeah.
No worries, that's cool.
I like the name of your first song.
Say again?
I like the name of the first song.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
We can play that one instead if you want.
No, I'm just curious. It's a great name.
Really? Alright, we'll go with that one down the track.
It doesn't
So we go 4, 1, and 3. We're going to change it to 4, 1, and 3.
What's the name of one? Because I don't have the track numbers.
Oh,
One
sorry.
is Salary Slut.
Do you need the name for number 3?
No, I already have it.
Okay, if that didn't get your rock and roll shoes moving, this is our guest today, and his name is Richard Barber, and the album I'm looking at is BORRISON IVY, which I don't know what that means, but we'll find out. And Richard, thank you for coming in.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me on the show.
One of the things that I do when I'm sitting here being the host is I try to think that there's an audience out there that I can't see.
Yep.
And most of them are not musicians. They may know one, but for them it's kind of interesting to hear what it's like to be a musician. How did that happen? Where did it start? Where is it taking you? Because a lot of times the only things that people watching TV find out is like by watching Entertainment Tonight or Inside Edition, it's all a celebrity. I think they think maybe that's pretty much the way our lives are. You know?
Yeah, yeah.
So I want to start as far back as did your parents sing to you in utero? Did it start that early, or later on? Were you forced to take lessons, or later on did you hear some kind of music that turned you on and you said, that's what I want to do? So I'm just going to shut up and hear what the beginning was like for you.
Well, it's an interesting question. They didn't sing to me in utero. They did read to me in utero, which might be one reason why I developed a love of reading. I suppose the first incident would be when I was about 16. My brother, who's a few years older than me, was doing a degree in musical composition, so there was always a couple of guitars lying around the house. I got into it that way just so I could jam with him, and I only played guitar for a year until I was 17. Then I dropped it 100% when I went off to college. I was very narrowly focused, and I thought you could only really do one thing and give it all your energy. And so I didn't pick up guitar until about 5.5 years ago, when I was living in Dubai. And the motivation was a nagging memory that it was something that I needed to be doing. It had been just burrowed away in the back of my brain. And I started reading a lot of self-help books about what direction you should be taking your life in, where you should be going, and I realized that I'd gone off in the wrong direction, and I should actually be playing rock guitar and writing music and songs.
Dubai, now wait a minute, you caught my attention there. I'm going, wait a minute. Here's a guy who played guitar for about a year and then went to school and somehow ended up in Dubai. So there's a little gap in my storyline there. I want to know how that happened.
Well, there you go. Well, in Australia, I was working as an English language teacher, and to expand my horizons, I went off to Japan and lived there for about 6 years on and off, doing that. And I was becoming a little bit disenchanted with the industry and the disparity between what professional practice should be and the reality of the classroom. I think that's something every teacher goes through. So I decided, okay, we've got one last shot. I'll go somewhere else and see what it's like. And I chose Dubai because I could earn a decent enough wage, and it was very different, so a good cultural experience. And I thought, based on my experience there, I'll either continue with EFL and ESL and do my doctorate, or I'll just pull the plug and get on with something else in my life. And I pulled the plug.
But if you got good real fast on guitar, unless you were real good in that first year. You're screaming on here.
Thank you.
Sounds like you haven't been playing that long. I thought you were going to say you've been playing since you were 5 or something like that.
No. I've been playing for about 5.5 years now. And it's an interesting story, and one which is quite unusual, and one which I find people aren't really open to either hearing or believing. But the truth is, when I was in Dubai, I was under a lot of stress, an incredible amount of stress, both personal, professional, and environmental, emotional, spiritual, physical, sickness, a whole bunch of stuff. And I became a very, very manically depressed person. And manic depression is a two-edged sword. The depressive side of it is all we really hear about, but the manic side of it, where you can focus your energy like an absolute laser and get more work done in 2 or 3 days than most people get done in a year. That's the upside of it. It burns you out, but I use that energy to practice and push myself extremely hard every morning before going off to work for a couple of hours. So without tooting my horn, it's not self-aggrandizing to say that I did get fairly good in a fairly short amount of time.
Yeah, because I started out as a drummer, and I picked up guitar thinking I should play guitar, and I noodled around with it, not seriously, because it didn't speak to me, but I figured I should learn how to chord. After a couple of years, I said, this thing's too hard.
It is. It's a hard instrument.
When I see these teenagers and a year later they're playing Jimi Hendrix, I go, what?
More impressive when they're playing something original. There are a lot of people who have some chops and they can mimic other guitarists well. And that's another reason I got into guitar. I looked at what some of my favorite bands were doing, and they've become influences, and I wouldn't put my stuff up there on the same pedestal, but great bands like AC/DC, I looked at what they were doing and I thought, oh my God, you don't really need the best chops in the world to do this. You just need a sense of song and some solid rhythms and good progressions and catchy choruses. And so that's been my motivation and the direction I'm trying to head in.
But the whole thing of, aside from playing the instrument, there's a whole nother artistic thing that's very hard, and I've talked to a lot of songwriters, and it's finding that hook.
Yes.
And something that song memorable or singable to the person who hears it, that's a real gift.
True. Oh, thank you. It's and I hope I've done that with this album and am doing it with the next one. That was actually one of the motivations for putting out this album, in that I literally wasn't enjoying much of the music I was hearing on the radio. It would go in one ear and out the other, and I want to hear catchy riffs, I want to hear choruses that I can hum along to myself afterwards as I walk down the street, and I just wasn't hearing that.
I know what you mean. That might be why I shifted over to steel drum. I was tired of most everything I was hearing.
Yep.
I wasn't hearing steel drum, and I still don't hear it on the radio. It befuddles me why that instrument isn't more present, because it's applicable to a lot of different things.
Yeah, very true. It might have something to do with radio programs having playlists provided for them by big companies.
I think so. Actually, there's the Hoku Awards are coming up this week, and our latest album is nominated in the instrumental category.
Nice.
But they usually do workshops every year, and bring in some people. And one of the workshops is on that subject about getting radio playing, what's going on there.
Yeah.
I'm going to that one because I have a lot of questions.
Oh.
About that. Even though I'm here, you think I would know because I'm on the radio.
Well, I might have to go along to that one too, because I've got a lot of questions about that too.
Yeah, well, I can send you the flyer. I'll email it.
Please do.
But yeah, so, okay. So, you know what? Let's go to another song. Now, I saw a song title that kind of hooked me. Just the title hooked me. Like, okay. I don't even know if I can say it on the air. I guess I can. It's called Salary Slut.
That's it. That's
So-
the first track on the album.
So, give us what is this? What inspired this? And then we're going to hear it.
Oh, okay. It's basically it's a synonym for being a wage slave. It describes the song's written from a first-person perspective. It describes the feeling you get when you're so disenchanted with your work, you don't get any reward from it, besides the fact that you're getting a check, a paycheck. And that's what you've become. You've become an empty shell who just turns up to work to get the paycheck. And I've been there. It's a sad state of being.
I threw away a career job with the feds after 12 years for the same reason.
Yep.
It was hard to do because it was very reliable.
Yep.
I mean, you can't get fired,
Yep.
but it's like living in mediocrity
Yep.
and fear, and it's just hated the whole thing. I didn't call it salary slut. What did I call it? I think I called it. I said we're all dead in the job, but nobody's told us yet.
Oh, I like
Something
it.
like that.
Yeah. Oh, very similar kind of sentiment.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
We're dead, but
Yeah.
nobody said.
Nobody
so.
said
We're still
right.
animated.
Yeah.
We go through the motions.
That's it. That's what it's about.
Okay, take it away. Let's hear it.
Did you see the movie?
Huh?
Did you see the movie Office Space?
No.
You probably should.
Really?
You might like it.
Really?
Based on the theme of this album.
Really?
Yeah.
Office Space.
Yeah.
All right, we'll do.
There's I was thinking this is a hit, man, because anybody who's listening to this, young or old, who hates their job, I could see him going to commuting, singing this. Down the road.
I sent this CD to a former co-worker in Dubai who, I still stay in contact with. He put it in his car and he was driving home and got a speeding ticket right away.
Yeah. No, I don't know. I don't know what you're doing for marketing, but and I haven't heard the rest of the songs. But just that,
Yeah.
I mean, almost everybody's gonna relate to that.
Yeah, I don't know what I'm doing for
And
marketing.
the anger from it too. It's just hitting me. It's just like it's really worth
There's a
it.
bit of anger in that album. There really is. Very cathartic in a lot of ways.
one time or another, and maybe now, feel that way. And I can see them driving to and from their commute with this blasting, just singing it, you know, to get the cathartic feeling out of them before they step in. Or
Well, thank you. Yeah, I think it's a bit dangerous to drive when you're listening to this. A friend of mine was like the first time he heard it, popped it in his car, and then got a speeding ticket immediately because it just got him revved up so much.
it is really revved up.
Thank you.
That is very cool.
Thank you.
Okay, we're kind of at the what I would call a halfway point in the time that we have. And so what I wanted to do is make sure that we don't leave out probably the most important thing, which is what are you doing now? How do you have a band? Do you do solo work? Are you available? How can people contact you? And just kind of lay all that out so that we don't forget to do it.
Oh, I wish I'd written down those questions as you said. We're busy gigging at the moment. People can catch us at Station Bar on Kapiolani Boulevard on the 24th of this month at 10 p.m. If they want any info on the band, you just go to BORRISONIVY.com, BORRISONIVY.com, or you can just Google Borrison Ivy and we'll pop up. And we're doing pre-production at the moment for the second CD, which will be out by Christmas this year. We're going into Rendezvous Studio with Pierre Brill, and we're going to do the 10 tracks for the second CD, starting recording in August this year.
Pierre's we have 9 albums. He's the engineer on all our
Oh,
albums.
yeah, Pierre's great.
He's
Yeah,
beyond great.
yeah, he's a lovely chap too, really nice person to work with.
Yeah. I remember the first time we went in. Pierre has a lot of opinions how things are, and you know he'll tell you. And you know you're an artist, and you're going, oh no, this is what I wrote. You know, just record it. You know, kind of with my head.
Twiddle the knobs, push the buttons.
And as I began to listen to him, and I would give in to one of his comments, and then I'd listen. I went, oh, this guy's, he's more than an engineer. He can really help in a lot of different ways.
Yeah.
I was amazed by it. From then on, I knew that he was going to be my engineer.
Yeah.
As I was recording.
I've heard that he plays, you know, it's not uncommon for him to play on people's tracks, you know, put a little bit in here, a little bit in there. And I'm open to suggestions from anybody within the circle who's working with Borrison Ivy. But at the end of the day, a lot of work and pre-production work has gone into and continues to go into the rough demos for that make up the substance of what we're going to record for the second CD. So we're not lacking in direction, and you know, if a good suggestion is a good suggestion, it'll be incorporated. But if somebody starts talking about putting, I don't know, choral background vocals in a place where I really don't want them, my foot comes down.
He's not that. He'll see when you work with him.
Sure, I'm sure it will.
And it's not something constant.
Yeah.
He's not like a prima donna wanting to
Sure.
take direction of
Sure.
the album.
Sure. And he actually did the mastering on this first CD, so he knows what we do.
Yeah. Oh, cool. All right. Yeah. How'd you run into Pierre?
I met him through Phil Keat. I recorded this album with Phil Keat at Highway Recording Studio down at Mariners Ridge, and then he suggested to get it mastered by Pierre. So we both went up there and got it done.
Very cool.
Yeah.
How long have you been in Hawaii?
About going on 3.5 years now, I think.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
This next project you're working on, is it kind of in the same vein in terms of
It is.
rock?
Yep, it is. It's straight up hard rock. It's Borrison Ivy. It's called Running on Empty. There are 10 tracks on it. We love all of them, and can't wait to get it out.
Cool. And the name, what's that?
That name came out of a moment of exasperation, actually. 5 years ago, when I put the band together in Dubai, I was trying to think of a band name, and I couldn't think of anything. You know, I wanted something that was multi-syllabic, something that hinted at masculinity without being too macho. And in a moment of exasperation, I said to my wife, why don't we name it after our 2 pot plants? I had a pot plant called Boris and another plant called Ivy. I said, just call the band Borrison Ivy. I thought, well, I actually rolled off the tongue. Okay, that's okay. So it became Borrison Ivy, Borrison Ivy. So it's named after plants. Not very rock and roll, is it?
Well, some rock artists are associated with various kind of plants.
True. True.
Anyway, does she think about it? I mean, is she a part of any of the music thing, or is she kind of like?
She's been the best roadie ever,
Uh-huh.
especially in the early days. She's 100% supporting of everything. I mean, sometimes it means having drum kits in the living room, you know, late nights driving around, setting up gigs and hauling equipment off and all that. She, not a complaint ever. We support each other in our life goals, and she's been fantastic.
Very cool.
Yeah,
Very lucky.
I know. Tell me about it. Everyone constantly reminds me.
Yeah. I went through one because of that conflict.
Okay.
Yeah, because my musical partner is my wife. So, and that works really well, except sometimes when we disagree about a chord or a melody line or a note, and that can kind of be like the cat fight.
Sure.
But it's never bad. It's just kind of like, one of us has to make a compromise.
Yeah. And at the end of the day, something I learned from Phil, the chap who I recorded his first CD with, he's very fond of saying at the end of the day, the final decision comes from the songwriter. So whoever came up with the tune, they know the way it's meant to go in their head. They have the final word. I don't know if that's going to help.
I'm going to remember that. Thank you.
Yep.
It's not always that I actually learn something.
Yeah.
That's good.
Well, it's like Sting. Sting said,
Yeah.
there's no democracy in art, and he's absolutely right. There isn't. You know, an artist has an idea and a vision and creativity wherever it comes from, and it's not up for constant debate and constant compromise.
We actually, now you're making me think of our relationship. We actually do that pretty much at the time, because she's trained classically.
Yep.
Piano, high class from Tokyo, so you know.
Nice.
She was in a graduate college in Tokyo for classical piano. It's like, corporal punishment and humiliation if you make one freaking mistake, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So when we started playing a lot of the Caribbean Latin stuff, it's more syncopated, right?
Yep.
It's not so straight like, I'm not putting down classical music. There's subtleties there that are very difficult too.
Yeah.
But not the syncopations anyway, like you get in Latin stuff.
Yeah.
She had a hard time with that at first, and we talked about that, and I got her kind of playing some lines that it was really foreign to her. She forced herself to do it.
Yeah.
But now it works fine.
Good.
She can feel how it fits together and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Well, we only got about 1 minute left. What do you want to say?
Oh, I want to say, come out and check us out at our shows, Station Bar, 24th, Friday night, 10 p.m. You can pick up the CD from our gigs. We sell them with the gigs. You can get the music from the website. And, rock on.
Phone number? Did you give out your phone number already? Give it out again.
808-636-9556. Email info@borrisonivy.com. Website, borrisonivy.com.
Okay, and we're going to go out on another song. What is the song?
This song, When It's Over, is a song about the grey area of not knowing if a relationship is actually broken up and finished or not. In a nutshell.
You were a philosopher too.
That was my first degree, actually, philosophy.
Okay, so here we go.
Funny you should mention Station Bar.
Say again?
Funny you should mention Station, that's where I do stand-up.
Oh, really?
Thursday nights.
Oh, brilliant. Oh, good. Every Thursday night?
Yeah.
Oh,
It
good.
used to be every other Thursday, but now there's like 2 promoters doing so
Yeah.
every Thursday.
Oh, brilliant. Well, I'll come down. So I'm going to go, we're playing on a Friday night. So always the night before I go in to check out the PA and everything.
Oh, yeah.
So I'll be down. I'll come and see you. What time are you on?
Well, I don't know if I'm going to go on next week, but I think everything starts at 8 o'clock.
Yep.
Yeah.
Good. All right. Well, I'll be there.
So
Thursday.
catch a free comedy show while you're there.
Yeah. Brilliant. I'd love to. Sounds good. I went to a couple of the comedy things out at Chinatown. They put them on in
Oh, yeah. Indigo?
Indigo. That sounds familiar. That might have been the place. Yeah. Indigo. Yeah, in the back room, that little back room.
Yeah.
kind of thing. That was good fun. That was really good. Yeah. When I lived closer to town, I went out there. Brilliant. So you stand up comedian?
No, I'm just starting out, just doing open mics for
Hey,
now.
everyone started out with open mics. George Carlin started out with open
Yeah.
mics. Bill Hicks started out with open mics. Everyone does. Brilliant. I think, for what it's worth, I think stand-up comedians, stand-up comic is the highest art form humans have achieved.
Thank you.
I really do. The
Wow.
ability to use nothing more than the semiotics, the symbolism of words, to put ideas in an audience's head and take them on a journey where they can laugh and connect. You don't get better than that.
Thank you.
It really is the highest art form. People don't appreciate it. Those who don't appreciate it. We know it's the highest art form.
Wow. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Nice.
And that's coming from an English major, okay? Right? It's even more important. It's not just an opinion.
It's an educated one.
Yes, an educated one.
There you go.
Oh, there's one other thing we're going to do. I always do it. I never bother. I don't know if I told you or not, but it's separate from this show. What it is I move away from here. The camera's just on you, and you do a little thing to Japan, saying this is who you are. I'm in Hawaii, and I really like Japan. If you've been there, you can talk about it. If you haven't been there, you can say you want to go there.
Okay.
You know, it's just a message to Japan. But it started out. It doesn't have to be this way now, but it started out after the tsunami and then the Fukushima plant. As what they call it, Nabate. Keep strong. But now we're kind of a couple of years away, so I don't know if the stay strong message needs to be as important.
Sure.
If it rolls out in your mouth,
Yeah.
then that's okay. Mostly it's just kind of, meet a musician from Hawaii. Like, hey, I really love Japan. I hope you like my music. And here's a song for you.
Yeah.
Now you can pick another song, or we can use one of the ones we did already, because
Use those goes.
this isn't because this isn't aired after my show. It's aired at some other random time during the. They're short. They're like, your talking part would be 30 to 45 seconds.
Okay.
Maybe. You can throw some Japanese in. That would probably get their attention. They kind of use this as what I would call a bumper or segue, or when there's space and time.
Say anything after the thing?
Yeah. Okay. Well, it's been great. I started out playing rock and roll drums, and you've been listening today to Richard Barber. Thank you very much for being with us.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
I'd like to have you back again when you finish your next album.
Would love to.
This doesn't have to be a one-time thing. Whenever there's new projects or new stuff, I'd love to have you back. And
Thank you.
for those of you who just tuned in, you're listening to a program on KZOO AM